Okay, it's happened. You're facing divorce. Or maybe you're the one who said, enough, I'm done. Well, good for you. But the glaring question that's probably keeping you awake at night, especially if you have children, is now what? Worry not, because here on Girl Get Your Support, we're going to answer the now what. I'm Levita, and I'm your host, along with my co-host. She's my mom. She's a former judge and attorney. My mother, Judge Ramona.
Hello again. My name is Ramona, and I'm here with my daughter, and I'm very excited to be here to give you some guidance. And our topic today is going to be selecting an attorney. When you realize that you're in a fight, and this will be probably one of the worst fights you'll ever have in your life, and not only concerning divorce, there are other things that you have to consider, such as support, what about child custody, and a real big one is visitation. So you're going to be facing some situations that you probably have never faced before, but we're going to help walk you through that. And then once you have an attorney, you'll be more likely to understand the process that you'll have to go through and what's necessary.
Yeah, Mom, definitely. One of the things that I can definitely testify to, having been there, is once you realize you're going to court, you have like this knee-jerk reaction where you immediately just want to hire someone. You need a representation, someone that's going to be on your side to protect you. But one of the things I learned from you is now is not the time to just grab anyone. Tell them why and what women need to do instead first.
Well, first of all, I'd like to emphasize that what Levita has stated is true. Don't get hasty. Don't be hasty about hiring anyone. I'm going to go over with you things you should do, the do's and don'ts in regards to hiring an attorney. But at this time, what I'd like for you to do is, there's a red button right below down there, and I want you to click on that red button and subscribe so that you won't miss anything that we want to share with you. Also, to be armed with information when you go into the attorney, that will be extremely helpful to you. So we'll get to that in a few moments, but again, be sure to click that red button so that you won't miss any of our tips that we intend to share with you. Well, now that you've subscribed, I want to go over with you. I want to start with the don'ts in regards to selecting an attorney. The first thing I'd like for you to remember concerning the don'ts, just don't hire someone because someone else says, oh, hire such and such a person. People come at you, they will be coming at you because attorneys, sometimes they speak with their clients and encourage them to get other clients for them. So you have to be very careful because you're getting ready to establish a relationship that will last for probably years. So do not hire someone just because you like their commercial. Maybe they're funny. They're having a lot of fun on their commercials, and you say, oh, that seems like a fun person. This is not fun and games that you're getting ready to deal with. This is probably one of the most serious, if not the most serious time in your life. So you want someone who is going to be just as serious about your situation and certainly look after you and be available to you. Don't select an attorney out of the telephone book, just randomly out of the telephone book.
They don't have telephone books anymore.
I beg to differ with her. Yes, they do have telephone books.
There's internet now.
Sure, there's internet, but there's also telephone books. So don't go on the internet or telephone books just because you like the way someone's face looks on the or in the telephone book or on the internet. All right, another thing concerning who you should not hire. Okay, so don't hire someone that someone in the family says, well, hire this attorney because they handled my estate for me. Attorneys specialize, okay, in certain areas. So because someone was good for that person in that particular kind of legal situation does not mean that that person will be a good fit for you because of the subject matter or the type of information or the type of law they have practiced with that person. Doesn't mean that they're going to be good for your divorce.
What about grandma's best friend's grandson at the church who just graduated law school, and he'll give you a good deal?
Yeah, he will give you a good deal, but then you have to make the decision as to what kind of an attorney do you want. Do you want someone who's very nice and cheap? Or do you want someone who, this person has made you so angry that you want to go for, in the legal profession we call it, going for the jugular? Someone has suggested, you've got to research. You have to, or you need to research the attorney who's going to represent you. Okay, since we've gone over the don'ts, now we're going to go over the do's, things I want you to do. The first thing I want you to do is to ask around. It's okay to whisper around to people that you know have gone through this. Ask them certain questions concerning the attorney that they hired. You'd be surprised that oftentimes some of the people will say that they didn't like how laid back their attorney was, or that their attorney appeared to be intimidated by their ex's attorney. So, you know, those are the kind of things that you should look for when you speak with other people. One thing you should do, if you don't know of any attorneys, contact the Bar Association. The Bar Association has a list of attorneys that specialize in certain areas. And another thing that you might do, you might want to go up to the clerk's office and just ask them, you know, who's a good attorney? You'd be surprised if they share that with you. They're not supposed to give you any legal advice, but sometimes they will let you know who's a good attorney in that particular area, such as support, custody, visitation, you know, who goes after the jugular of the ex. Also, you want to make a list of what you're and who you're looking for, okay? You want to know exactly what you're looking for in an attorney. Even if you happen to see a show on television and someone appears to be a good attorney on television, what are some of the strong points that you liked about that person? Just some of their mannerisms. Maybe it's their appearance. You don't want to go into court with someone who's very sloppy looking and that kind of thing. Or if you go into court and you want to sit into the courtrooms and watch attorneys in action, make sure that you observe very closely, because some attorneys are intimidated, some attorneys are intimidated by the courtroom that they're in, and some attorneys just don't have what you need to win your case. So make a list of several attorneys that meet your qualifications. Make a list, because as you go through and you're meeting with these attorneys, and that's another thing, I want you to set up appointments with attorneys. Attorneys will ask you to come in, and there's no consultation fee. So why not go and interview the attorney that you may possibly hire? you'd be surprised. I mean, everything may come across over the telephone as something or someone that you feel that this is an attorney for me. But once you get in their presence and you watch their and you learn their demeanor, you're like, no, I don't think this person is right for me. And if you feel uncomfortable with them, then make a list from your list, just put uncomfortable with them next to their name. And then even ask them, how long have you been in practice? How long have you been handling these kinds of cases? You don't want someone that just came out of school, okay, to represent you if they're not experienced in this areas. And as I stated earlier, attorneys are specialized in different areas. So if someone is not specialized in family law, what you need, then that's probably not the best attorney under these circumstances. Because when you represent someone in an area that you're not good at, then it's not a good thing. And that's from an attorney's perspective. So know that you want someone who has some mileage under them concerning the area that you're looking for. And that's just my tip to you. And also, I want you to know do's and don'ts that you don't do. And I don't want you to go so overboard in getting the most qualified person that you've ever heard of, like my daughter did, okay? And she's going to share that with you. So don't do this, what she did.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In my defense, when I needed an attorney, I was going up against an NFL football player who had just come into millions. So in my opinion, I needed the best bulldog out there because we were about to seriously get into a fight. And I did not want to ask my mother. I had this great resource, but I thought I can do this by myself. And I was watching television, and I saw an attorney on television by the name of Gloria Allred. If you don't know who that name is, look it up. You'll see how silly I feel now. But Gloria Allred is the person who went after President Clinton with the women who were accusing him of things. She's the attorney who represented the children who went after Michael Jackson. And recently, she's representing all the women who just went after R. Kelly. So she's a high-powered attorney. And when I saw her on television, I said, yes, that's the one. She's the one for me. And I picked up the telephone and I called her office and I told her legal assistant, tell her Levita's on the phone. I need to speak with her. And they say 90% is just how you come off. So her assistant thought I was somebody important and actually put me through. And when I got Attorney Allred on the phone, she didn't have a clue who I was, but to her credit, she was very kind to me. I had no business calling somebody that high profile. And once she realized I was just Joe Nobody off the street, she was very kind to me. And she said, in a nice way, well, you know, I might be a little bit out of your price range, but get a piece of paper because here's what I want you to do. And she gave me some tips for finding a lawyer who was more in my price range. And it took years for me to realize how wrong that was, but I finally turned to my mother and then I got some good guidance. So don't do what I did. Don't call Gloria Allred.
That is true.
So I learned the hard way that the advice you got is actually golden and definitely it should be followed. Oh, that's our signal for us to turn to Celebrity Corner. Now, Celebrity Corner is something we're going to do at the end of each show where we examine what's happening in the same field, family law, with celebrities. Because one thing about family law, whether it's divorce, child support, visitation, when it comes to that, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how much notoriety, family law remains the same. So, today's study, we're going to shine the spotlight on our celebrity for today, And that celebrity is Jennifer Hudson and David Otunga, who is her soon-to-be ex. So, Mom, here's what's going on with them. Hudson told the court that as part of the couple's contentious custody and support battle over their son, she wants her soon-to-be ex Otunga to get a job, and she also wants him to start keeping a work diary. As for her husband, who actually is seeking money from her, Jennifer states that he should be getting a job and it should not be that hard for him to get a job. Now, here's what's going on with Mr. David. He has a bachelor's degree in psychology, and before she came into his life, he worked at Columbia University in the Cognitive Neuroscience Center. Wow. But wait, there's more. Jennifer's soon-to-be ex also graduated from Harvard Law School, and he's passed the bar in Chicago. So he's technically able to be an attorney. So this is why she's saying, you know, I should not have to pay him all the support. He is capable of getting a job. Now, we're going to turn it over to the bench to get an expert opinion. So my question to you is, so from a court's point of view, given the credentials that this man has, regardless of Jennifer Hudson's celebrity, shouldn't he be viewed as being able to financially hold his own?
And the court will probably look at him in that light. One thing that she probably, with her financial resources, she should have entered into a prenuptial agreement.
She didn't.
Well, she should have. She has set him in a position where he's grown accustomed to a certain standard of living.
But he didn't bring anything into the marriage, so how can he feel like she was established before she even met him?
Yeah. So what the court will do is to find out what resources she has during that window when they were married. During that window,
she was married.
Okay. The court will look at how much she's attained during that window and probably limit it to that particular window. So if she increased her monies or her finances during that time, he probably will be able to reap some benefits from her.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate just for a second. So if you were representing Jennifer Hudson, is there anything that you could suggest to help her oppose him taking a big chunk of her money? Does she have any legs to stand on?
By virtue of their entering into this and saying, okay, we're entering into this equally, and therefore the court's going to look at that.
She doesn't have any position to
Well,
fight, really.
I mean,
I just don't like it when women have to pay men support. I mean, he's a man. He's a man.
Women, we want equality in everything also, don't we?
Yes, but...
Okay, so, I mean, it goes to finances also. So, as a woman, if you're financially well off and you decide to marry someone who is not of your
equally yoked.
Equally yoked, that's a good one. If they're not equally yoked, and this is who you fell in love with, and you went through marriage vows with them and said honor and you're going to share and that kind of thing, the courts probably will hold you to that. So, but if she came into the marriage with X, Y, and Z, and he has not contributed anything, then she should be able to show that. And by that I mean receipts for things she has, have other people testify, you know, that he just brought his one suit into the marriage, then all that will be taken into consideration.
Well, I just think I'm going to go back and say it again. I know the law is the law, but I think it's wrong that David Otunga now wants Jennifer Hudson to be his lifelong sugar mama, because that's basically what it
And
is.
he's not the only one. There's precedent for this. There are a lot of, especially movie stars, women who've had to, over the years, take care of their deadbeat husbands. So there's precedent for that. And and we're going to talk about that probably in one of our segments more in detail.
Okay, well, that's Celebrity Corner, and that's actually our show for today. I'd like to invite you to leave comments in our comment section if you have a topic that maybe you want us to address. So let us know. We want to hear from you. We're watching and we're listening.
Yes, but we're also asking you again, don't forget the red button down there to subscribe to our program so that we can make sure that you receive all of this valuable information that you will be receiving.
Thank you, and as I always say, be good to yourself, and we'll see you soon.